There are nearly 3,000 species of snakes found worldwide, and they're everywhere. Slithering in your kitchen, backyard, or hiding just beneath or over the surface, while you remain clueless. What happens next? Well, that you're gonna find out in this video. Buckle up to uncover their hideaways and see what these snakes did inside a house that no one could believe. A family in Vietnam were terrified when they found a slithery surprise hiding under a tarp in their house. As soon as they moved it, the snake was already in a defensive posture. They struggled to get the snake controlled as it fought its best and even spit out the venom that the guy was fortunate enough to dodge. Although their venom is not the most potent among venomous snakes, the amount of neurotoxin, a substance which affects the nervous system, that they can deliver in a single bite is enough to kill 20 people or even an elephant. The guy eventually managed to successfully bag the snake without anyone getting hurt. Longest Burmese python.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Let's go!
Even though these reptiles are dangerous, they do sometimes give an amazing story for people to tell. Out on a nighttime adventure, a bunch of friends stumbled upon something amazing. While searching for a snake, they discovered a massive python hiding in the bushes. Things got intense when the snake lunged at one of them.
Oh!
But he acted fast, grabbing its head. As it started coiling around him, his friends rushed in to lend a hand and taped its mouth shut.
Oh my god! Let's go!
Later, they found out it was a colossal 19-foot-long python, the biggest Burmese python ever caught in Florida. Their incredible catch became big news worldwide, and they proudly showed off their extraordinary find. Air vent guest.
Snakes found in the most unusual places like this one.
Texans often stumble upon snakes in the oddest spots, like this guy who had a surprise waiting for him inside his truck's air vent. He had left a bag outside, didn't check it, and then brought it into his car.
Rolled it up, tossed it in my truck.
When he started the engine, he noticed something slithering in the air vent. Taking a closer peek, he found a whopping 1-foot-long rattlesnake.
Now looking in the air conditioner, I could just see him moving around in there. I noticed it was a snake.
Quick on his feet, he removed the unexpected passenger and released it back into the wild. Always double-checking might spare you some rattlesnake surprises. Front door guest. Your family coming out to greet you is kind of old-fashioned, huh? How about a large rattlesnake instead? A woman in Florida had this bizarre encounter when her neighbor called, warning her about a 6-foot-long rattlesnake lounging on her doorstep.
My neighbor called me and told me, do not open your front door. He was very excited. He goes, there is a 6-foot rattlesnake outside your front door.
The animal control services were called, who quickly arrived and removed the snake from the premises. Authorities blamed the warmer weather for luring the snake out in search of cooler spots to beat the heat. It sure made the homeowner break a sweat. Lounging gator. Houses are a place to feel warm and safe. But what if your soon-to-be home was overtaken by an unwelcomed visitor? Something similar happened when this man walked into his under-construction home in Louisiana and encountered one heck of a surprise: a massive 9-foot-long alligator. He found himself in a face-off with the intruder who had casually strolled into the unlocked house. To deal with this reptilian intruder, they called in an animal expert. Now, wrangling the gator wasn't easy. Just watch as they tossed a rope over its head, and it thrashed around violently. The gator wasn't thrilled about being yanked across the floor either. Closing its mouth was a real challenge, but they finally did it and let the gator loose back into the wild. Quite the unexpected house guest! Lizard in toilet. How would you feel if a massive reptile crawled out of your toilet to greet you good morning? I would have passed out, that's for sure. But that's what happened to a British tourist vacationing in Thailand, who got the shock of his life when he found a massive monitor lizard staring back at him from the loo. This lizard appeared all of a sudden, checking out the scene with its sharp claws and all. Pretty scary, right? But luckily, after its little visit, it went back on its own and didn't show up again. Well, now that was some wild bathroom surprise! Australia Python Invasion.
He thought about striking at one stage, but
he is well fed.
Yeah.
Pythons are some of the largest of snakes, but these reptiles are facing conservation threats due to habitat loss. And to cope with the lack of environment to thrive, they often invade human settlements. Here's one that happened last year, when a snake was found in the kitchen of an Australian home.
That's not a bad size snake.
This sneaky python had found the perfect hiding spot among the kitchen stuff, blending in with the tiles. But its wriggling tail gave it away.
He's a little bit defensive right now. You can see he's backed into a corner.
The family quickly called in a snake expert to handle the situation.
He thought about striking at one stage, but
he is well fed.
Yeah.
The pro caught the well-fed python before anyone got hurt and released it safely into the nearby bushes. But that's not the only invasion story out of Australia. Snake wranglers are always prepared for a rescue call, just like this one in Queensland, who quickly sprung into action after a family informed him about a huge python. The slithery reptile was hiding under the deck when it was spotted. Fortunately, it was a carpet python, a non-venomous snake, so it was a bit easy for the snake catcher to remove it from underneath the pool deck.
Oh my God, where did he come from?
There we go.
Holy dolly.
I was wondering how this sneaky snake made its way in there. The expert guessed it might have slipped through the small gaps in the fence.
He went through that little bit on the other bit there, out under the little gap, and then she squeezed through it.
Luckily, it was removed safely. Whew, crisis averted. Here's another snake strike. A reptile expert got a call to remove an uninvited slithery visitor in Queensland, and she encountered a very strange situation. The snake was assumed to be living in the ceiling of the kitchen. When she looked in through the roof, there weren't one, but two carpet pythons, who seemed to be performing some weird ritualistic dance.
Oh, there's two. Oh, it's a fight.
She used her equipment to move them to the hole, then switched to her bare hands to pull them out. A brave move. Jeez, I got chills just by watching that. Not gonna catch me touching those. Huge python.
Was sitting on the toilet when he saw this curious critter descending from the bathroom.
Running out of toilet paper is not the only problem Australians face in the toilet. Sometimes they encounter something far more scary. A Queensland resident sitting on the toilet got the shock of his life when he spotted the piercing eyes of an unwanted, slithery visitor lounging on the top of his shower. The man instantly called for a snake catcher, and the intruder was identified as a 6-foot-long carpet python, weighing around 22 pounds. That's why you should check your washroom before starting your business. Alligator Invasion. Can you imagine the shock of finding a huge reptile inside your house? That's exactly the way this woman felt. Utter shock. The gator was hissing and showing off its wide-open mouth, looking all ready to strike. When the lady tried to make a quick exit, the gator swiped her knee with its tail, making her tumble. Luckily, she didn't get seriously hurt. They called in the experts to deal with this rude intruder. It took a whole hour to handle the 8-foot-long gator, but they finally taped its mouth shut and safely returned it to where it belonged in the wild. What an unexpected encounter! Giant lizard. Lizards are probably some of the most despised creatures and seem to get a kick out of invading people's homes. Have a look at this giant lizard stuck to the door. It seemed to have underestimated its size and wanted to go about like a regular wall-climbing lizard. But nothing about this lizard was conventional. The residents of the house were freaking out seeing the reptile move around their space. Then, a brave guy came forward with a rope and a stick to catch the lizard. He skillfully got it out of the house before it caused any trouble. Now that's what I call a bold lizard rescue. Zebra. Zebras usually keep to themselves in the wild and hardly venture into human areas. But guess what? A zebra was spotted chilling in a woman's bedroom. Nosing around the closet. Now that broke the norm. As soon as she shouted, that creature dashed on out of there. In a different incident, not only did a zebra enter indoors, but it also seemed to be on a full inspection tour. It checked out the sofa, took a peek into the trash, basically owning the whole place.
No, gonna break the glass, boy. Go out.
But why was this unusually shy animal strutting around like a boss? Well, it turns out it wasn't just any wild zebra. It was a rescued one.
The boy was rescued by us when he was a couple of months old.
Living as a pet with this lucky family. Imagine having a zebra as part of your household. Definitely not your everyday occurrence. Alligators on the move. A family in South Carolina woke up to a massive 7-foot alligator trying to climb the backyard fence. The rangers struggled to get a hold of the reptile as it thrashed around.
Oh my gosh.
But eventually, they managed to get it onto the truck and took it away. And this situation was quite serious, as this was the 5th gator captured in a single season. Why the sudden appearance? Well, it's mating season for alligators, so they're out and about. So be careful, it's a wild world out there. Deer Invasion. Crashing into places isn't only for cars. Sometimes animals also crash into houses. This family's indoor security camera caught a scene that looks right out of a wildlife documentary. This family was going about their morning routine when suddenly, BAM! A loud bang of a crashing door was heard, followed by a deer rushing inside the house. Not being able to move swiftly on the smooth floor, the deer decided to take a breather right there. Did you see the dog by the door running for its life without looking back? The couple decided not to scare the animal and kept their distance and called animal control for help. Here's another clip of a restaurant where chaos ensued when a deer barged in through the front door and made the customers run away. After paying the kitchen a little visit, the poor animal then left by the back door on its own. Raccoon Invasion.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh my gosh.
An unwelcome arrival caused a ruckus in this house. Opening the door to his bathroom, this man came face to face with a raccoon hanging onto a shaky light.
That's so awesome. That is so awesome.
Each family member went through a series of emotions. Where one was freaking out about the potential rabies virus the animal could be carrying, the other was enjoying it while recording the whole scene.
Oh, baby, it's so cute.
Baby, they have rabies.
To get it out of the house, they opened the back door and shut other ways, hoping the raccoon would leave. But its exit remains a mystery, as our video ended there. Huge reticulated python. This man from an unknown place found the world's longest snake, a reticulated python. It was ridiculous. ridiculously long, wriggling along the ground. It seemed to be moving out of the house, perhaps on a mission of its own. Also, have a look at this absurdly huge anaconda, slithering away on the ground. It seemed to be climbing over a wall. Isn't it wild how these snakes grow to such enormous sizes? Elk Bonanza. This house seemed to have lured in an entire herd of elks. The intimidating scene was captured by a local in Oregon when hundreds of wild elks were found standing outside a house. Then, suddenly, they started to move and left down the road. The person recording was scared by the sight and immediately backed up around the corner.
We gotta run home, they're gonna go down the road.
This strange elk behavior wasn't a one-off either. A neighborhood in Colorado also witnessed a very similar elk herd resting in their lawns.
There's so many of them. I've never seen so many.
People drove past them, but the wild animals didn't seem to care. The reason behind them doing so is that the unseasonal heat has caused a lack of food, and during this time, they like to rest wherever they like. Rat Invasion.
Rats have practically taken over the Claremont houses in the Bronx.
The presence of rats in an area often depicts bad hygiene and illness, as they can carry diseases. But imagine an entire building overrun by these nasty rodents.
I'm in bed and I woke up to scratching noises in the walls.
Folks living in a Bronx housing project faced a big problem. Rats had taken over their homes. These sneaky critters were everywhere, crawling over kitchen counters and floors in broad daylight. It got so bad that one kid was even bitten.
The rat's trying to attack my kid. He got bit in the stomach.
With the whole place disheveled, people had to leave their homes. They figured the problem began in the courtyard and were asking the authorities to step in and fix things up.
NYCHA admitted the problem. Our residents shouldn't have to live in these conditions. We apologize to our residents and will continue to vigilantly monitor the situation.
They needed some help pronto. Hanging bear. Leaving your house alone with unlocked windows isn't only an invitation for robbers, but sometimes it can also result in something like this. A giant brown bear climbing through the window was captured in Colorado. It might look like it's trying to enter the house, but it's actually leaving after a feast. It found its way into the residence with ease, despite the large frame, but its exit strategy, well, that seemed to be failing. Jumping out of the second-floor window, injuries would definitely follow. The family was actually out of town, and its venture would have gone unnoticed if it wasn't for the neighbor who captured the unusual scene. When it was unsuccessful, the smart one decided on another route and exited through the first-floor window. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Intrusive capybara. In an Argentina neighborhood, an extraordinary event shook things up when adorable yet giant capybaras suddenly took over the area. Imagine the surprise of locals as they spotted hundreds of these furry creatures wandering around, causing quite a stir in their usual calm surroundings. But people still continued their daily activities as usual. Authorities jumped into action to manage the situation and ensure everyone's safety and relocate the capybaras back to their natural habitat. But where did they come from, and why only that neighborhood? The question remained unsettled. Sneaky raccoons.
We got a call about raccoons being in a porch, so let's go check it out.
In Toronto, a house under construction became an unexpected hideout for a group of raccoons.
Underway.
Investigating the scene, they found the raccoons had snuck in through an open back door.
Climbed up the brick, and this glass is missing.
Exploring every corner of the unfinished house. Tracking their path, they discovered the raccoons' secret gateway. Tucked in one corner, they looked scared. The team tried guiding them out through the front door. And finally, one by one, 11 raccoons scurried out through the back door.
Look at this one.
The house was free from its temporary raccoon inhabitants. Animal infestation. Hold your breath, as we're about to dive into some of the most nasty animal infestations. A woman in Oklahoma woke up to a moth right in her face. But the worst, well, that was yet to come. When she got out, she saw this.
That is awful. As I've sadly learned, moths are the hardest to get rid of.
Her entire house was engulfed by thousands of moths flying around, and a whole bunch of them covered the glass window. I don't know how or why the house got so severely infested, but I do know one thing. It's gonna be a pain to clear them out, as moths are the hardest to get rid of. But moths aren't the only infestors. What if you peeked out of your living room window and were met with this utter nightmare? Earlier this year, a woman in Nevada found herself trapped in her own home, surrounded by thousands of insects.
I'm a prisoner in my own home.
These bugs were crawling all over. Walls, ceilings, floors. No spot was safe. Some even entered inside.
We just found hundreds of crickets in our garage and about 3 more inside of our home.
Turns out it was an invasion of insects called Mormon crickets in the area. When she called an exterminator for help, he said there wasn't a lot he could do. But what really got her worried was that the crickets were totally ignoring her neighbor next door.
Really disheartening to look out at my neighbor's house and there wasn't a single one on their home.
She was quite literally bugged. Now these critters we've seen, they don't arrive individually or in pairs. When they come, they come in droves. Just like in Illinois, where locals were not prepared when a bunch of bugs took over. Loads of mayflies swarmed the roads, causing chaos with traffic accidents and trapping cars. These bugs covered the pavement so much that even cops warned it was risky to drive there. They made the walls look like they were alive.
It is literally a sea of mayflies today.
Mayflies might not stick around for long. I mean, they only live for about half an hour. But even though their big hatches can cause quite a mess, these insects don't hurt people. In fact, they actually play a really big role in rivers' ecosystems. But prepare to be grossed out by this one. Back in 2016, Hawaiian locals got a big bug situation on their hands. Loads of millipedes started showing up everywhere, both inside and outside people's homes. The experts thought the wet weather might be behind the bug boom, but locals were surprised because, even though it was the season for them, they'd never seen so many before. To tackle the issue, folks were told not to water their lawns too much and to skip using mulch in the soil. The pest control folks in Hawaii were definitely kept busy during that time. Boring workday. A regular workday turned into total chaos when a wild visitor barged into the office. Out of nowhere, a wild boar dashed right into the building, not realizing there was a glass door, and crash! It shattered that thing into pieces. The employees went into a frenzy as they came face to face with the unexpected guest. Everyone was running around trying to dodge the boar. The boar even jumped on a table, then through a window and bolted out of the place. Turns out it probably dashed in because it was being chased. Luckily, nobody got hurt, but the incident made for a boring one for everyone at the office. Gigantic house guest.
Oh, no.
It's amazing how animals can be curious about us, just like we're curious about them. This elephant seemed eager to explore a house. This giant, with its slow and massive steps, approached the house, more barging than sneaking due to its size. It squeezed itself into the small space without asking and began checking things out with its trunk, even picking stuff up. When a jeep moved closer to signal it to leave, the elephant swiftly crouched out on its own. Surprisingly, it didn't even bump the roof or cause any damage while making its exit. Seemed like an elephant out on a casual stroll. Coyote Night Venture.
A curious coyote meets its match, a fearless feline.
Animals often wander into our spaces, seeking food, shelter, or even just a friendly hello. Take this coyote, for example. It snuck into a house in Woodland Hills, having a midnight standoff with a house cat. And the only witness to this wild encounter? A home security camera. The sneaky coyote casually strolled through a doggy door at 4 a.m., only to be met by a brave and hissing house cat. The cat jumped onto dining chairs, keeping the coyote on edge. And this wasn't the only incident. Coyote invasions were seen all around the neighborhood, causing quite a stir among the locals. Stinky situation.
She pours out food on a daily basis for some wild animal.
A kind woman was feeding stray animals in her neighborhood. But things took a turn for the worst when her generosity unintentionally lured skunks to the area, causing a lot of trouble.
How do your neighbors feel about you feeding skunks?
Well, skunks are just one of the animals that count.
The skunks became a real nuisance for everyone around. One family's poor dog ended up getting splashed by its stinky spray. It became clear to the whole neighborhood that feeding strays was leading to unwanted guests invading properties and causing chaos. It's a smelly situation indeed, leading everyone to ask the woman to stop feeding the strays for the sake of the community's safety. Mountain lion.
A mountain lion inside her house and grabbing onto Sherman.
It's becoming fairly common for predators to reclaim spots they once roamed freely in before humans took over. Just like this mountain lion that boldly entered a woman's kitchen and even targeted her pet dog. Thankfully, her friends scared off the lion before it could harm the animal. Look at it dragging that poor dog. It's assumed to have entered the house through the sliding kitchen door, but that's not it. Investigations revealed the lion's past attacks on 3 goats elsewhere. To safeguard the area, authorities made the tough call to euthanize the mountain lion. It's a reminder of the delicate balance between humans and wildlife. Gator's Day Out. Shoppers at the Coconut Point Mall in Florida got more than what they'd bargained for when wildlife crew captured a gigantic alligator. The gator was found resting in the murky waters near the mall. A crowd gathered to witness the unusual commotion. The humongous alligator weighed around 600 pounds and was about 12 feet long, just 1 foot shy of the record gator caught in the state. Fortunately, the reptile was captured before anyone could get hurt, and the authorities planned on conserving it in their natural habitat. Python attack.
Oh, that was close.
This python does not look happy to be evacuated from its hideaway. A snake wrangler from Queensland was called in to remove this rude intruder from a property. When the man took it onto the ground, it slithered forward and tried to attack. But luck was with this guy's side that day, and he moved away just in time to avoid that bite.
Oh, that was close.
It's amazing to see this reptile hover in the air. It might seem like they've got no bones, but they do, and sometimes even more than humans. Massive gator bed. In the wake of a big natural disaster hitting Texas and Louisiana, people hurried to safety, but animals suffered too. Among them was an unexpected guest, an alligator resting on a bed inside a trailer, likely seeking shelter. A rescue team stepped in and relocated the alligator to a safe haven in the wild. Authorities cautioned locals about these creatures popping up across the state, looking for higher ground. The move aimed to protect both people and the displaced wild alligators, ensuring a safer environment for everyone. Hospital under invasion. A hospital is the last place anyone would expect to find a huge reptile running around. But expect the unexpected. This terrifying moment of a giant monitor lizard rushing through a hospital in Thailand is crazy. A nurse entered one of the rooms to clean when she spotted the lizard wandering through the rooms searching for food. She tried to scare away the 1-meter-long reptile, but it kept evading her and hid under the beds and equipment. After 15 minutes of struggling, trying to corner the reptile, they were finally able to drive the creature out of the room. Frog Invasion. Imagine you went into the toilet and saw that. I can't decide if they're cute or disgusting, but they are very unusual nevertheless. A woman in Australia found these critters chilling in her toilet when she checked after a long time. They were probably looking for water and shelter from the outdoor heat. Here's another incident where a giant frog appeared when the toilet was flushed. The poor toad held on for dear life and withstood the violent shower of the water and stayed stuck to the place it called home. Peacock Invasion. Peacocks are one of the most beautiful birds to walk this earth. I'd be so delighted to see these beauties in my area, but these people, not so much. And for good reason. These colorful birds have long roamed Los Angeles streets, and the residents love to feed them, which keeps them coming back. But some people reported damaged property and noise complaints. Among the annoyances is the male bird's mating call, which one of the residents said, quote, sounds like babies being tortured through a loud microphone, end quote.
And sound like babies being tortured through a loud microphone.
A proposed ban on feeding them was imposed, and the help of a peacock relocator was sought to remove the intruders. Leopard. A while ago, the CCTV at Chamarajanagar Institute of Medical Sciences caught something straight out of a thriller. A leopard sprinted through the corridors and made a beeline for the stairs. Suddenly, it seemed to forget something, doubling back toward a room. Luckily, it changed its mind and retreated. And whew, good thing too. Who knows what could have happened if it went inside? These unexpected visits by wild animals are starting to worry more and more people. Mama Orangutan.
The fuck? No way!
A family in Indonesia woke up to a surprise guest inside their house. An orangutan mama had come to visit them with her baby latched onto her side. She entered through the front door and moved around the house like she's been there before. She went into the washroom and even washed her hands.
He's using the soap to wash. No way!
Then looked into the fridge, took a couple of sodas with her, and sat on the wall to enjoy them. It looked like she needed just that after one long day of mothering.
Bro's got a bottle of Coke, and he's got Fanta as well. Open the Sprite. No, he's actually drinking Sprite.
Messy baboons.
Huh? You want to play with my piece of cat, yo? And he's coming down. Come on, get out of here. Get out of here. Get out. Here's the door.
For anyone who forgets to shut their windows, this one's for you. This man left his house, leaving a window wide open. And what happens next? Baboons. Not just a couple, but a whole gang invade the place. As the man approached to peek inside, baboons were having one grand feast, racing around the house, causing chaos. The kitchen was a disaster zone.
I think we should shoot this thing. Whoa, that's a big one.
The primates left no corners untouched. When the man entered, he managed to shoo them away. And that's one lesson learned the hard way. It's incredible how much chaos a few open windows can invite.
Okay. I still see one of the big ones down here. Okay, this is the last baboon in the house. Down. Come on, get out of here. Get out of here. Get out. Here's the door. Okay? Come on. Okay, I'm gonna make a way for you to get out. Okay, out the door.
Badger Invasion. No one likes to be left out, just like this badger, who looks like it wants in on the party. But the closed glass door was in its way. It sniffs around the door, trying to figure out a way to get access inside. But the poor animal failed. No problem, buddy. It's just not your day. Chaotic iguanas. Miami Beach got a wild surprise when tons of iguanas barged in, wreaking havoc and chaos on the residents. These invasive reptiles snuck into homes, leaving messes behind. This picture, captured by one of the locals, showed them scurrying near the water, flying along the path. All shapes and sizes, they ran around, causing quite a fright. The authorities were struggling to find a way to effectively remove them from the area, and their booming population was responsible for the sudden invasion. The locals definitely weren't ready for this scaly takeover. Python in pond. When this guy noticed his fish vanishing, he took action and drained his pond. While moving the fish to a safer spot, they spotted something lurking in the filter. Upon closer inspection, a massive invasive snake was discovered, likely responsible for all the disappearing fish. Terrified by the unexpected guest, the guys bravely removed the reptile from the water. One of them caught it by the hand and placed it in a glass box, far from the fish. Luckily, they caught the culprit before any more fish could vanish into thin water. Sneaky reptile. This woman from Houston was scared to her bones when she encountered a huge reptile in her own house. The snake was sneaking at the top of the door and jumped at her when she opened it. Later, she saw it again near her door, hiding behind a broom. But thankfully, despite its considerable length, the snake didn't cause any harm. This photo was taken when a sneaky guest was found in someone's home. A snake! The house seemed neglected, creating a perfect spot for this cold-blooded creature to hide. At first glance, it looked like there were two heads tangled together, but when a person poked them, the snakes quickly unwound. One dashed off swiftly, while the other got defensive, ready to strike. It lunged at the person, who skillfully dodged the attack. These snakes are known for wandering into human spaces, hunting for food, shelter, or even during mating season. This snuggled-up pair seemed to be there for the latter, making their unexpected visit even more surprising. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like it and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.